Okay, here we go. Take two from the Sky Garden. 2025, week 7. Listen, can you hear that car in the background? Man. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here in the Sky Garden. You can almost see the CN Tower way out there. It's a beautiful day, nice clouds in the sky. Anyways, let's get started. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share with your friends. Okay, we're going to start out with the chive plant. It's doing really well. There's a few brown leaves on there that I got to take off, but not too bad. Got some buds on the top here, which will turn into really nice looking white flowers that are also edible. So I can garnish some salads or something with that, and they'll look real nice. Here are the spring onions, green onions, whatever you want to call them. They're starting to come along. They're getting some decent growth in there. Then it's getting a little breezy up here. Then we have the bell peppers. Still no peppers on here. They're going really slow. I think it's because of the heat that we've been having. So that's those. Now, I got some real problems here going on with these cherry tomatoes. They have a bad case of blight, which is, see the brown spots on that leaf there? So that is called blight. And eventually it will kill the plant. See how yellow the leaves are compared to the nice green leaves down here? So I've been treating that with a mixture of baking soda and water in this spray bottle. That's not going to cure it because there is no cure, but it will slow it down. So I'm hoping to save these plants because they do have some tomatoes on there that are ripening. I'm hoping to keep these alive long enough to get a harvest. There's tons and tons. That's why they're called Sweet 100s, I guess, because there's literally hundreds of tomatoes on there. Now this next one here is the slicing onions, tomatoes. They're beefsteak tomatoes, and you can see way down here we got a couple of really nice large tomatoes. So that's nice on those. Oh, I also had to lower these down. I took the shelf out and put buckets under because they were hitting the ceiling. And I'll show you at the end of this. Holy moly, it's windy. I'll show you at the end of the video how I did that. Then here we have the Roma tomatoes, which I'm having a problem with these too. I've got blossom end rot, which you can see right there. That's normally due to inconsistent watering, they say. So that means they dry out, and then I water them, and then they dry out, and then I water them. So I've been really trying to keep up on that. You see this one here. Oh, let's get around here. Doesn't have any blossom end rot on it. So I'm just going to have to keep on top of that. This is the other Roma tomato over here. It's doing okay down here. See that? So there's a few more up here too that are going on. No blossom end rot on that plant, so I'm not sure why it's on the one and not on the other one. Then, if we can keep out of the wind here, there's a whole bunch of jalapenos on the 2 jalapeno plants. Got one down here in the back there, a couple up here. Then we have the Hungarian sweet peppers. which are, there's a bunch in there. There's a whole bunch over here. Those are really nice. Gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with those. And then we have over here, we have the bush beans, which I did a harvest off those for, we had a ham, potatoes, and carrots and beans dinner the other night. So that was kind of nice. And then here we have the lettuce, which is down here out of the shade, or in the shade. I've been harvesting off that pretty much every day this week. I put it on some burgers, put it on some sandwiches. So that was cool. Starting to get something out of the garden anyway. It's still only been 7 weeks, so it's still a little early. And then down here we have the sage plant, which still has, it's getting blight too, but it still has the powdery mildew on it. So that's a bit annoying. I just been keeping that away from everything else, and hopefully I'll get some use out of that before the end of the season. Anyways, I'll be right back with the indoor portion of the Sky Garden, and we'll show you that. All right, here's the indoor portion of the Sky Garden. I've kind of been neglecting this, so things are getting a little yellow. And I also have the blight starting to show up on the spearmint plant. Anyway, here is the curly parsley, the spearmint plant. We have the rosemary plant. We have the oregano. And we have the basil. And we have the rosemary back in there. And I've also did some cuttings off of these plants. So I have a basil plant here, which you can see the roots in there. All kinds of roots. Spearmint plant. Rosemary plant. Tomato plant, which has a whole bunch of roots on it. So these plants need to be up potted into a pot. So I'll be right back with the harvest from this week, and I'll also show you some work I did to lower those tomato plants because they were touching the ceiling. Anyways, be right back. Alright, well, we got some lettuce and some chives. Then we have some jalapenos and some Hungarian peppers. And here's a spider that's been hanging out in the garden. We're just gonna leave him alone. All right, here we are again out in the Sky Garden, 2025. Excuse me. As you can see, the cherry tomato plants, while the indeterminate tomato, holy crap, the indeterminate tomato plants are right up to the ceiling. So I'm gonna have to fix that by lowering them down. So hopefully I can take the shelf out from the bottom down here and put buckets in their place. So let's see what I can do. All right, holy crap. All right, well, what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to try to swing this guy out of the way here. See if I have enough room to do that. Ooh, just barely. Look at that. Okay. Whew, just barely. Enough room. Swing that out of the way. Ugh. So now we will put those buckets back. Space those out. Ooh, get out of breath. Oh, I get out of breath so easy these days. Look at that. That is just perfect. Now they have enough room to grow up some more. Now these guys like to fall over in the wind, so I'm going to use the table and this chair to brace them up. And hopefully they won't fall over. There we go. All right. I want to move these over a little bit. Oh, crap. Well, maybe instead of that, I'll put my water buckets up against them instead of the chairs. and see what happens with that. Anyway, that's it for today. This was mainly just a test of the microphone, because as you know, last time I did a recording, I got a major buzzing sound in the microphones. So let's see how this went.